We have a caper to solve, and you couldn't have come at a better time. Our national nightmare has happened. Kourtney Kardashian, her Lemmy supplements, over $4 million of these. And so many people were like, I don't think that's the commercial invoice value. Like, guys, I don't know what she insured it for. The article says $4 million. It doesn't matter. I mean, maybe it's less, maybe it's more. But either way, it was a lot of these probiotic gummies got stolen out of the lot. And here's the only real info we have. It says it was in San Fernando Valley where it was parked. They used fake paperwork and IDs to enter the lot, then drove off with the product in tow before anyone realized what happened. And we got a meme right here too. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Let's put the Sherlock Holmes hat on here.
Yes. Now, tell me, what do you think happened here?
Well, a lot of things could have happened. I'll tell you what I think with the very, little information TMZ is able to provide us online. To me, it sounds like they said the system got hacked. Okay, maybe. I think more realistically, somebody showed up to that facility, to that gate where those poor gate employees are sitting there just trying to do their job, trying to get trailers in and out. And they probably had some sort of BOL or official looking paperwork that said, I'm supposed to be here. And they waltzed in, they grabbed the truck, and they waltzed out. If I had to put money on it, something like that happened. And this is why, my company provides a yard management system. This is why something like a YMS is critical, because if you know what's supposed to come into your yard, when it's supposed to be there, it's supposed to be taking a trailer, and when they're supposed to be leaving, this sort of thing is totally avoidable. When you don't, you get, on TMZ for it.
Do you think, how like Taylor Swift was a bit of a catalyst for some AI regulation? Do you think Kourtney Kardashian could be a catalyst for some freight fraud regulation? We talk about it so much, but now we have like the face of it.
Yeah, maybe. I think it's always a little bit hard to tell how seriously celebrities take things like this. But you're right. When it comes to enforcing legislation, I mean, freight fraud. I heard the story the other day of one of my coworkers who worked at an organization that had a whole trailer load of refrigerators get stolen right from under their nose. So this happens. It doesn't get reported quite as often as when it happens to a Kardashian, but it is an avoidable thing that a lot of facilities, when they feel it, they go, oh, shoot, we never want this to happen again. And they end up looking for some sort of system or product or something to keep from making the front page news again.
Colin, does RFID fix this? Or is it, as some people say, yourself maybe included, is RFID on the way out? And if so, what are we going to use instead to protect Kourtney Kardashian's freight?
RFID has had its time in the sun, and it's served a lot of operations very, very well. I don't have any beef against RFID, personally, but it's one of those technologies that's overstayed its welcome. It's been around for so long. It's very expensive to implement. I know I'm probably rubbing a lot of people the wrong way by saying this, but there's better solutions out there. A lot of operations we talk to are trying to consider, we really want the live visibility, but we also, don't want that to come at the cost of having to replace these tags every time a trailer comes in or out of the yard, having to, lose a tag in the wintertime if they're up in Canada. So this is the type of thing that when we look at cost benefit analysis, RFID ends up just having way too high of a cost. And the benefits often are not nearly as accurate as people think or want them to be. So from a technology standpoint, if you really want to go to the sensor route, there's some other great options. We see a lot of GPS sensors, really going the extra mile these days and providing down to, single digit foot awareness of where a trailer or where an asset is in the yard. But a lot of companies, honestly, just to be real with you, Dooner, a lot of companies could benefit just from a process-driven system where they go, hey, I told the driver to park in spot 30. That's where the trailer is. You don't need a sensor. You don't need something that's going to be a huge upfront cost to implement. You really need something that's going to give you a simple map, some alerts, some awareness. A lot of companies don't have that at all. So I think starting with something simple and seeing what your needs are from that is a great best practice.
Colin, driver detention, whenever we talk about driver retention, driver detention is something that comes out and how it wears down on drivers. What part of the yard is responsible for making sure drivers aren't detained, and what can help with that?
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I was amazed when I was at F3 last year. I was amazed talking to not just people who are, brokers, people who work with freight, but also truck drivers themselves And then facility managers, nobody likes driver detention. No, everybody wants those drivers to get where they need to go, get their job done, and get moving. Drivers probably most of all, but facilities hate paying that as well. So when I hear that a company's paying $500,000 a year in driver detention just because they don't have visibility, it makes me sick. Honestly, it makes me sick. So to answer your question, how can facilities fight this? Look, it's very simple. All you need the ability to see when a trailer arrived on the lot, how long it's been there, and how long until that detention kicks into gear. A preset rule, basically. A system like ours basically turns a trailer red, letting you know, hey, this is approaching detention or this is at detention. It's time to move it out of the yard. And regardless of where that trailer is, if it's at the docks, if it's sitting out in the yard, if it's at some sort of waiting area, the dirt parking lot across the road, whatever, we can send text messages, emails, notifications. We had one facility that was a just-in-time facility that needed alerts all the way up to the CEO if something went wrong at their production plant. Driver detention is one of those things that is totally preventable when you have a system giving you those live updates and awareness. And back to your point about RFID, a lot of companies think, okay, we need to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to get there. No, you don't. The reality is that you can implement something very simply and effectively, get it going in a few weeks. And that detention problem, no lie, 90 to 95% reduction. We've had customers save $500,000. We've had customers save 2.5 million annual expenses. That's probably not the norm, right? Most companies aren't spending that much, but if you are, there's a way out.
Yard checks, are they inevitable? Can we get rid of them? Can we use automation, AI, all these promises to completely remove yard checks?
I've seen a lot of organizations, a lot of newer companies, and actually one there was a press release a couple days ago from one of the big WMS systems. Computer vision and machine learning. These are all great technologies. Look, I use AI every day in my day-to-day work for just stuff online. All great technologies. But the reality is that what a lot of companies are sort of hinting at is that, look, you'll never have to walk around the yard again. Nobody will ever have to walk around the yard and find something ever again. And I think they're setting expectations that are difficult to attain, if not impossible to attain. The reality is that yard checks are something that companies are spending too much time doing. And if you can cut yard checks in half, 50% or more, if you can cut the amount of time a yard check takes, incredible benefits, right? But saying, hey, you'll never have to do a yard check again, just put a drone up in the sky or just have a camera on the building. What if it's foggy, right? What if there's snow? What if it's rainy? What if it's nighttime? These are things that a lot of these companies, I think, are working on addressing. I'm interested to see where those technologies go. But the reality is that you don't need something like that realistically to get good visibility. Yard checks are annoying. Our customers report 50% reduction in having to do them and the time it takes to do them. And we think that that's a great start.
60 seconds or less, because we're a little short on time. This is the lightning question. It's about bad WMS. Is WMS just table stakes? If I have a big TMS provider who's also offering YMS, should I go and take it or should I be concerned?
I'll give you the 60-second version. We got a whole podcast on this that's like 30 minutes long, man. No, don't do a bolt-on WMS or don't do a bolt-on YMS from a WMS or from a TMS vendor. They often, and nothing against these vendors, they're great people, great companies. The YMS gets treated as an afterthought. It gets treated as a nice to have, maybe you'd like that. The reality is that modern shipping yards deserve modern software that streamlines their operations, not an afterthought, not something that's going to get the bottom of the barrel in terms of support. So do yourselves a favor. You wouldn't use Apple Notes to manage a huge project in your company. Don't use a software tool that's an afterthought. That's something that's not going to cut the mustard to manage your operation, to manage your yard.
Nice job. You've run out of time. Awesome. Amazing. Go check out my buddy Colin Mansfield. He's a great veteran. He's a yard management expert. I think he even used to do a podcast about coffee in Idaho. I went deep.
True. True.
I went deep. Well, hey, thank you so much for stopping by. Have an awesome weekend, man. I'll see you on
Twitter.
Take care. Take care.